what would happen if the college football playoffs expanded to the 12-team format in this season? Well, today we're going to use NCAA 14 and the college football Revamped Mod to find that out. One quick note that I will add is this is the most updated roster that I have found, but it does not account for injuries. So Tennessee should have Hendon Hooker, Michigan will have Blake Corum, and Ohio State should have Jackson Smith-Jigba, and if I forgot any other injuries, I apologize. And now, according to multiple websites, this would be the bracket that we would get this year. The 5 seed TCU would take on the 12 seed Tulane. The winner of that would go face number 4 Utah. The 6 seed Ohio State would take on the 11 seed Penn State. The winner of that would go face number 3 Clemson. Alabama, as the 7 seed, would take on the 10 seed USC. The winner of that one would face 2 seed Michigan. And then number 8 seed Tennessee would take on 9 seed Kansas State. And the winner of that would take on the number 1 team, Georgia. And now for how I plan to simulate these games. A few days ago, I did the 4-team playoff and I showed you guys any turnovers or touchdowns or anything like that. And then we watched the final few drives as the game was close, which all 3 of them ended up being close. But obviously this time I have a few more games to get to in this video, so what I'm going to do is super sim everything, and then if it's close at the end of the game, we will watch the final drive or 2, but aside from that, you guys will probably just see near the end of the game, and then we will go over all the stats. But now to finally jump into the games, and the first game we will simulate is Tulane against TCU, and like I said, the winner of this one will go on to face Utah. And this game was never really close. TCU walks away with a win 52-31. And Max Duggan had one hell of a game, 28 for 43, 467 yards, and 6 touchdowns. Running the ball, Kendre Miller ran 26 times for 89 yards and a score, and receiving, Quentin Johnston 10 catches for 147 yards and 3 touchdowns. Tay Barber got 157 yards and a score, and then Savion Williams, I hope I said his name right, got 2 touchdowns. And Tulane's quarterback Michael Pratt did not play bad either, 32 for 58, 419 yards and 2 touchdowns. On the ground, they couldn't do a whole lot. Spears ran 15 times for 53 yards and 2 scores, and receiving, their best one was Deuce Watts, who caught 7 passes for 97 yards and a touchdown. And the next game up is Ohio State versus Penn State, and the winner of this one will go on to face Clemson. And in this one, we do actually have a close game here. Penn State is up 23-17 with 1:50 to go, but Ohio State is down at about the 20-yard line facing a 3rd and 3. So let's go ahead and jump in and see what happens here. Stroud out of shotgun. Will take the snap and look to pass. He's under pressure, goes over the middle for a touchdown on the first play that we see. Are you kidding me? So now it's up to Penn State's offense with 1:26 to go, down by 1. They just need to get into field goal range. And they will hand it off to the running back on the first play, and to the outside, he will actually get the first down. Running a no-huddle offense, they come back out in shotgun, now from the 36-yard line. He will send someone in motion. Clifford takes the snap and looks to pass. He's going to try to run here and gets to the outside and will get close to the marker, but they rule him just shy of it, and they will continue running a no-huddle offense. 1:05 to go in the game. They still have all 3 timeouts. Taking a while to get set here, though. Now 1 minute to go in the game. Takes the snap and looks to pass. He's going to try to run again. This time gets the first down, but fumbles the ball, and Ohio State has recovered. A couple plays later, it is 3rd and 4. Penn State has 1 timeout remaining. A first down here would end the game. Stroud takes the snap, hands off to the running back, who is going to get met and brought down. I think Penn State's getting the ball back with about 40 seconds to go and no timeouts. Well, Penn State, the defense got you the ball back. 1st and 10 with 39 seconds, no timeouts. Clifford will take the snap under pressure and getting sacked on the first play. Obviously not what they needed, and now everybody is trying to get set again. Clock is still running, and I think they're just going to spike the ball instead of a 3rd and 16. They're waiting a while to snap this. I don't know what Clifford's doing. Why are you waiting so long? This has to be some sort of glitch because I think Clifford's about to let the clock hit 0 and they're going to get out of here with a loss. Great logic here from EA Sports. And he finally spikes it with 2 seconds to go. Why? Well, Penn State may have just made the most questionable call I have ever seen in football. Now they come out and need a Hail Mary here. Clifford will take the snap. He steps up in the pocket and getting sacked on the play. Ohio State will win this game 24-23. And final stats, CJ Stroud goes 20 for 31, 268 yards and 2 touchdowns. On the ground, Travion Henderson, 111 yards and a score. And receiving, I don't want to try to butcher your name, but you got 121 yards and a touchdown, and Stover also caught one. And Sean Clifford did not have a great game against Ohio State. 17 for 38, 322 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 interceptions. And then Singleton ran for 109 yards in a score, and none of their receivers really did anything, except Singleton did catch a 78-yard touchdown pass. And the next game is a battle of superstar quarterbacks with Caleb Williams in USC against Bryce Young in Alabama. And we don't jump in and watch any of this one because it was really never close in the second half. USC wins this one 45-21, so they will go take on Michigan. And Bryce Young apparently struggled against this USC defense. 25 for 43, 394 yards and 2 touchdowns. That sounds solid until you see that 4 interception mark. And then Gibbs ran for 116 yards and a score, and receiving, Holden 8 for 145 and a touchdown, and Prentice, hope I said his name right, 103 yards and a touchdown. And Caleb Williams absolutely balls out in this game. He goes 29 for 38, 416 yards and 5 touchdowns. On the ground, they only ran for 76 yards. Williams also ran in for a touchdown. And receiving, Taj Washington 7 for 160 and a score, and McRee caught 2 touchdowns. And in the final game for round 1, we have the Kansas State Wildcats taking on the Tennessee Volunteers, and the winner of this one gets the prize of playing Georgia. And now another game that does not come down to the last possession. Tennessee takes this one 31-17. And for the stat line, Hendon Hooker goes 24 for 39, 294 yards and a touchdown. On the ground, Wright ran for 87 yards and a score. Hooker also ran one in. And receiving, only one person went over 100 yards. That is Ramel Keaton on 8 catches for 100 yards and a touchdown. And for Kansas State, Adrian Martinez goes 18 for 33, 206 yards and a score. And then on the ground, they ran for 85 yards. Their fullback did run in for a touchdown though. And receiving, no one really did a whole lot, but Phillip Brooks did catch 2 passes for 82 yards and a score. And now here are the matchups for round 2 of the playoffs. TCU will take on Utah, Ohio State will take on Clemson, USC will take on Michigan, and Tennessee will take on Georgia. And because I don't know what bowl games these teams are going to pick, because apparently like the number 1 team will get to pick what bowl game they want, the number 2 team will get to pick what bowl game they want, and so on and so forth. I don't know what bowl games these teams are going to pick, so I'm just going to make everyone play in the College Football Playoff Championship Stadium that's here in the Revamped Mod. But the first game we are going to simulate here in round 2 is TCU against Utah. And we don't get to jump in on this game because it was a beating, 45-20, and it's actually worse than it looks because Utah got a garbage time touchdown at the very end, so they should have lost 45-13. Utah's quarterback goes 22 for 46, 285 yards and 2 touchdowns. Running the ball, their running back ran for 79 yards, and receiving, no one really did a whole lot. Parks was their best one, 5 for 98 and a score, and Dixon also caught a touchdown. And Max Duggan, after throwing 6 touchdowns against Tulane, comes in and throws for 407 yards and 4 touchdowns against Utah. Kendre Miller actually didn't get to carry the ball a whole lot. I guess he got injured. And their other running back goes for 67 yards and a score. And receiving, Quentin Johnston, 10 catches again, this time for 134 yards and a score. Davis caught a touchdown, and their backup running back caught 2 more touchdowns. And the next game up on the list is the Ohio State Buckeyes taking on the Clemson Tigers. And we finally have another game to jump into, and once again it is the Ohio State game. Clemson is currently down 27-30, but just got the ball. So with a minute and 24 seconds to go in the game with no timeouts, DJ Uiagalelei, I hope I said his name right, is still at quarterback. He goes downfield and finds the man open, brought down to the 35. Now 1st and 10 from the 37 actually. He takes a snap, throws to the outside, caught by his tight end, and he will break one tackle, get brought down at the 40. Only a gain of 4, so they will have to run no-huddle offense. And they will line up to, I believe, spike the ball, and they don't run down time like Sean Clifford did. 1:06 to go in the game. The clock is currently stopped. Out of a pistol formation, DJ takes the snap under pressure and getting sacked on the play to bring up 4th and 13. Well, the game is on the line here. DJ takes the snap, drops back to pass, throws to the outside, and that will be incomplete, and Ohio State will win this game 30-27. And DJ transfer portal goes 23 for 41, 296 yards and 2 touchdowns. On the ground, they ran for 77 yards and a score, and receiving, Williams got 7 passes for 99 yards and a touchdown. And Gata, I'm going to hope that's how you pronounce his name, 54 yards and a touchdown from him. And CJ Stroud doesn't have a great day, but they get the win. He goes 14 for 23, 222 yards and a touchdown. On the ground, Henderson is apparently what carried them, 187 yards and 2 scores. And receiving, once again, that same receiver, don't want to butcher your name, 7 for 85 and a touchdown. And the next game up should be a pretty interesting one, USC against Michigan. And this game was pretty interesting to see get simulated because at halftime it was 3-0, but then in the second half Michigan just took over. They win 27-9, shutting down the USC offense. JJ McCarthy goes 20 for 37, 204 yards and 3 touchdowns. On the ground, Corum runs for 166 yards and a score, and receiving, Johnson 7 for 75 and a touchdown, and Wilson 7 for 74 and 2 touchdowns. And Caleb Williams struggled a lot today, 23 for 42, 329 yards, 1 touchdown, and 4 interceptions. Running the ball, Travis Dye 21 carries for 65 yards, and receiving, Jordan Addison 6 for 104 and a touchdown. And now for the final game of the second round of the playoffs, Tennessee gets their rematch against Georgia, and barring an upset from Tennessee, we're about to have the same top 4 anyway. And we do actually get to jump into this game. It is 41-35 with 1:28 to go. Georgia just got the ball and they have no timeouts. So let's see if Stetson Bennett can pull this off from about the 11-yard line out of shotgun. Like I said, he has no timeouts remaining. Bennett takes the snap and will throw it deep down the right side, and that is a diving reception. And now running a no-huddle offense here near the 50-yard line. Bennett will take the snap, stand back in the pocket, and once again go deep downfield, and another diving reception, this time deep into Tennessee territory. What are the corners doing here? 1:18 to go. Bennett back in shotgun. From about the 23-yard line, he will take the snap and look to pass. He goes deep again, and another wide open receiver. What were y'all doing? Well, now it's Hendon Hooker's turn from the 25-yard line. With 1:05, they do have all 3 timeouts. Hooker out of shotgun will take the snap. They're bringing a blitz. He gets the screen pass out to number 20 on the outside, and he is going to be ridden out of bounds for a gain of 12. And he got out of bounds so they don't have to burn their timeouts. 1st and 10, 59 seconds to go in the game. And they will run a handoff to the running back this time, and he will power his way through for a few yards, a gain of 7. Now running the no-huddle offense with 45 seconds to go in the game. It is 2nd and 3. Hooker back in shotgun. They are letting the clock run down. I don't know why the CPU is doing this. I really would like to know why EA has the CPU do this. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I've never seen this in any of the Dynasties or Road to Glories I've ever done. It's only happened whenever I tried to simulate these games. But Hooker is letting this clock run all the way down. Under 20 seconds to go in the game now. Is he finally going to snap the ball? Yes, he will. Looking to pass. And he goes over the middle, and that's caught by number 10 all the way down to the 40-yard line. They rule him down at about the 41.5. Now with 13 seconds, they did burn a timeout. Hooker back in shotgun will once again look to pass. Standing back in the pocket, has a lot of time right now, and he's going to roll it to the outside and get sacked by the one defender standing there. 7 seconds to go. You got to kind of wonder what they're going to try. Do you try to get into field goal range and burn that timeout? Hooker takes the snap, and he will launch it deep to the end zone, and that one will be tipped around and incomplete. Time runs out. Georgia is headed on to the semifinals. And now let's take a look at the final stats for that complete shootout. Stetson Bennett goes 23 for 39, 434 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a pick. On the ground, McIntosh ran for 96 yards and 2 scores, and Erickson also ran in for 1. Their center got a touchdown? Okay. Receiving, McConkey, I once again hope I said his name right. 6 for 120 and a touchdown, and Bowers 5 for 146 and a touchdown, and Jack Saint 2 for 118 and a score. And Hendon Hooker actually had a pretty solid game until that last couple plays. He goes 28 for 44, 462 yards and 3 touchdowns. On the ground, Wright ran for 63 yards and 2 scores, and receiving, Tillman 8 for 154, and then White caught a touchdown and Fant caught 2. So I can't find anything on how the Final Four is supposed to be set up, so I assume it will be just like it is now, where the highest ranked seed plays the lowest ranked seed, and then the other game is just the 2 remaining teams. So with that being said, and setting up the 12-team playoff, we end up with the same top 4 teams anyway, and the exact same matchups. TCU will take on Michigan, and Ohio State will take on Georgia. And just like in the last video, the first game of the Final Four will be TCU against Michigan. And we will get to jump into this game. With 1:57 to go, Michigan just kicked a field goal to take a 3-point lead, so TCU will take over after a touchback. And let's see what Duggan and the offense can pull off here. From the 25-yard line, out of shotgun, they do have all 3 timeouts. Duggan will take the snap, and he's going to try to run right up the middle, and he will fight for the first down. Running the no-huddle offense, he comes out as the only one in the backfield here with 1:48 to go in the game. Duggan takes the snap, standing back in the pocket, throws to the outside, and that is intercepted by Michigan. And that would be how this game ends. Michigan would not give the ball back. TCU could not stop them, and they ran down the rest of the clock. And JJ McCarthy goes 19 for 34, 276 yards, and 2 touchdowns. On the ground, Quorum ran for 200 yards. And yes, I know he's not playing in real life, but that is a monster game. Receiving, Johnson 7 for 100 and a touchdown, and Edwards 2 for 42 and a touchdown. And Duggan had a pretty solid day until that final pass that he threw. 26 for 43, 318 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a pick. On the ground, the running back Kendre Miller ran for 80 yards, Duggan ran for 69, and receiving, Barber 9 for 103 in a score, Quentin Johnson 7 for 91 in a score, and Kendre Miller caught another touchdown. And now obviously we will jump into the next game, which is the Ohio State Buckeyes taking on the Georgia Bulldogs. And we will get to jump in, but for only one play of this game. Ohio State is down by 6, 5 seconds to go, and they just got the ball at the 25-yard line after a touchback. So let's see if CJ Stroud can pull off a miracle. That is not even CJ Stroud in at quarterback. I have no idea who that is, but he will drop back to pass. He's going deep downfield, obviously looking for a miracle. This will be caught, but brought down at the 30. No time left. Georgia's headed to the national championship. And Stetson Bennett had a, I would say, average game here. He goes 18 for 36, 274 yards and a touchdown. On the ground, McIntosh ran for 182 and 3 scores, clearly carrying them. And for receiving, Bell caught 5 for 57 and a touchdown. And yeah, it looks like CJ Stroud got injured in the game, but Kyle McCord comes in and actually played really well. 8 for 8 and 150. CJ Stroud finishes the day 13 for 18 for 187 and a pick. On the ground, Henderson ran for 174 and 2 scores. And then Dallin, I about called him Dylan, but Dallin Hayden, 1 carry for 4 yards and a touchdown. And receiving, once again, this receiver that I don't want to butcher his name, 7 for 123. And now it's time for the national championship, which is between the number 1 Georgia Bulldogs and the number 2 Michigan Wolverines. Setting up a 12-team playoff just to get number 1 versus number 2 is a little sad. And I haven't been jumping into the middle of these games really at all, but I will show you guys that Michigan was driving downfield to make this a 1-score game with about 3 minutes to go, and JJ McCarthy just threw a pick in the end zone, I'm pretty sure. So Georgia has a 14-point lead with 2:42 to go. And Michigan would get the ball back with 1:28 to go with no timeouts. McCarthy will throw to the outside, caught by his receiver, and that's a gain of about 8. Running the no-huddle offense, they're going to spike the ball immediately. He doesn't waste time here. Now 3rd and 2, and Michigan is going to need to pull off an absolute miracle here. McCarthy, the only one in the backfield, will take the snap and will throw to the outside. That is caught for the first down. He needs to get out of bounds, but he doesn't. So they will run the no-huddle offense. Obviously, it stops the clock momentarily. He comes back out in another 5-wide set. He will take the snap, looking to pass, obviously, goes over the middle, caught by number 3, but he will not get the first down, and the clock will continue to run. Probably a bad play call there, but he will line up to spike the ball. Are they going to run time down? No, they won't. With 57 seconds to go, they have a 3rd and inches. They need to get about 63 yards downfield very quickly, and he dumps it off to number 1 over the middle, and that will be a first down, so it stops the clock momentarily, and they will run the no-huddle offense. Is he going to spike the ball again? No, they will line up in shotgun here. 50 seconds to go in the game. McCarthy takes the snap. Like I said, they're going to need a miracle. He's going downfield. He has a man, and 14 needs to get out of bounds. He stays in, so they will need to run no huddle to not burn any clock. They need to get a touchdown and kick an onside kick. Will they spike the ball immediately here? Will EA glitch out? Never mind. Spikes it immediately. 41 seconds to go in the game. McCarthy out of shotgun. From about the 20-yard line, Will looks to pass. He throws over the middle, and that is caught by his tight end, and the clock will continue to run. They are not going to spike it here, though. He lines up in shotgun, looking to pass, throws to the outside, caught by, I believe, his tight end again, and he fights his way all the way down to the 2-yard line. 1st and goal. Out of shotgun, takes the snap to the end zone, and drops a touchdown. Obviously not what Michigan was needing or looking for. Now 2nd and goal from about the 1-yard line. McCarthy lines up under center. I know they are not running this ball. That is way too risky. He will drop back to pass. He goes to the end zone, and that is intercepted, and Georgia might actually return this one for a touchdown, but they just secured their win in the national championship game. Running down the sideline, is anybody going to get him? They will finally bring him down, but Georgia will get out of here with a win, 38-24. But anyway, that will wrap up this 12-team simulation for the college football playoffs. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and I will talk to you guys next time.